have dreams or longings in my heart what I would like to do or to be in the world. And on the other hand, the world itself. What is realistic? What has a chance for success?
Hello everyone and welcome to Astrology Insights. My name is Ricardo Prince, an enthusiast for over 2 years in the topic of astrology, and every day I'm getting more enthusiastic by it. And today I'm blessed to sit here with someone like Vincent, who's been an enthusiast for
over 40 years already, really decades, yeah.
And professional astrologer.
Also for the last 20 years.
Yeah. So isn't that wonderful, people? So we're going to ask a lot of questions today. In this episode, we're going to cover Virgo energy. It's the 6th zodiac sign in the zodiac. We'll discuss Virgo energy in general, and after which we will cover a typical Virgo energy coming from a place of abundance versus coming from a place of neediness. When we talk about Virgo energy, we are not talking about Virgo people, or what are we talking about, Vincent?
Well, basically, we're talking about an astrological symbol. And astrology, you might describe that as a language. It has a certain alphabet, a certain grammar, and Virgo is just one element within this grammar or alphabet. So it's not a thing, not a person, not a personality type. It's just a way to describe things. It's you can describe astrology with cooking. You take different ingredients, and with all the ingredients together, you create a whole, a dish. In that sense, you also create a chart using all the symbols, influences that you see, and with that you create a whole more or less representing a person or a situation or whatever. But there's never like a pure Virgo person or Virgo circumstance. So it's we're describing basically a tool.
Oh, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, you're welcome.
With that being said, I'd love to talk about Virgo energy in general.
Yes, well, actually describing this zodiac sign as a tool is actually very much a Virgo way of doing, of thinking. Virgo has to do with tools because Virgo energy has to do with processes, goals and processes. So a goal is something you want to go to, and the process is the path. You have to go through, you have to run to reach your goal. And you can have very inefficient or even unsuccessful processes, paths, or super efficient paths, ways to go to this specific goal. But Virgo energy is very much about this interaction between goal and process. Or you might say with earlier signs I described, for example, in terms of the archetypical mother and child, or the archetypical father and child, that was about Cancer and about Leo. In the case of Virgo, you could say it's about me, or awareness, and objects in the world, or even better, the dynamics of the world, all the processes in the world, which have to do with goals, things that you want to reach. And sometimes these are given, like by nature, and sometimes they're formulated by consciousness. I'll give you an example. A very famous, in astrology at least, example of Virgo energy is just your digestion. Digestion has a goal, and the goal is to maintain your life. Without digestion, you could not live for longer than a day, maybe a few days, but then it will be over. The whole thing that digestion does is to transform the food that you put into your mouth into all the tissues in your body. That's actually all that it does. And the same goes for breathing and for drinking. It's just you bring something on one end of the process, then the process takes place, and the result is a transformation. There's some waste product, but the main goal is the maintenance of the body in this example. So this is what you see in Virgo energy, in all kinds of Virgo energy. There's one end of the process, the beginning, you put something in there, and then something else comes out. Very often, that's what comes out is not like a product in a factory, although those have to do with Virgo energy. It's very much more contributing to the whole, whatever the whole may be. So it's your contribution to society, or just your contribution to the household that you belong to. Economy is actually very much a Virgo energy, a symbol of Virgo energy, except the digestion, what I just mentioned.
So a typical Virgo
Yeah.
energy is like a typical person with lots of Virgo energy. He'd have a clean house. He'd have a very clean house.
Yeah,
Like the processes
example.
are.
Yeah, cleanliness is actually a Virgo quality, and also health. So processes working well. Clarity is also clarity in the sense that as far as it contributes to a process, to something being done. You might say Virgo energy is about all the processes and transformations and representations that relate the outside world to your core, and the other way around. Your core energy through some process or representation or transformation to the outside world. So you could have talents. Talents belong more to Taurus energy, but you need some skill to bring out the talent, and the skill is Virgo energy. So artistry, skills, learning things, so to channel your energies in a very specific way, and also a way that really is useful. And usefulness is also always defined in relation to some goal. There is no general usefulness, there's only usefulness relating to some goal. So usefulness in an art world is very different from usefulness like in a factory or in a commercial world. But either way, it's about usefulness and being able to be of use. So when I say to be able to be of use, it is you as a person, for example,
Gonna contribute.
yeah, it's you being part of a process. So sometimes the process is inside you, like in the example of food, it's the process is inside of you. You're not doing anything consciously for it. You're just allowing it to happen. And the end result is the maintenance of your body. But in other cases, when we're talking about your talents, for example, or what you could do in the world, it's also like about when I have dreams or longings in my heart, what I would like to do or to be in the world. And on the other hand, the world itself. What is realistic? What has a chance for success? To be able to see that, to discern that, to be able to acknowledge reality, and to be able to separate the things that, however beautiful they are, they're not very useful, to set them apart, and to just stick to the really useful, smart stuff. Smart in the sense of being able to, for example, make a living. That's also a Virgo process. To make that selection, to select in any form is actually Virgo energy as well. To be selective, to be able to select, to make choices also. To have criteria. It's all Virgo energy. And always criteria, choices, selections, they all presuppose a goal. When you have trouble making choices, for example, you're probably not in touch with the underlying goal. And you need to pay some attention to that. So Virgo energy is very much about that. And more general, Virgo energy also has to do with like logistics, or that, which also has to do with facilitating processes, whatever kind of process. The Virgo energy also has to do even with intellectual processing. So information coming in and you being able to process it. Even in that sense, if there's no underlying goal, sometimes it's a conscious goal, but for many people it's an underlying goal that enables them to process lots of information. If you do not have that underlying goal, you will not be able to process. It will be chaos. It will be too much. It's not because you are like cognitively disabled, not at all, but you're probably missing the goal, the whole sense, the whole purpose of the thing going on. So if you stumble on that you have problems processing information, you should probably pay attention to the question, okay, what is it for?
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
That explains a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have some Virgo energy in my chart as well, which we can cover in a later episode.
Yeah.
From those, the Virgo energy in general, can we move on to some of the negative qualities that come from a place of neediness, let's say?
Well, I could also mention with a little bit more emphasis the positive sides of Virgo energy. If you are a person who embodies strong and positive Virgo energy, it means you're a person who is very much aware of reality, very much aware of what is needed in society, or by a person. Say you work with individuals, you can really see them. You're not projecting your own ideas or your own issues. You're just really perceiving, okay, this is what is needed in this situation. Or you're talking to a customer, a client, and you can feel or sense or perceive, this would be really useful in a super practical way, instead of, I don't know, just being expressive or just talkative or just emotions. No, what's useful?
Very grounding then.
It's very grounded energy. Strong, positive Virgo energy is also in people who are very precise, very able to deal with details, and people who pay attention to details and see the significance of details. It's often in details that really relevant information comes out. So people have an eye for detail, can play a very important role in organizations or other places. To be very well organized is Virgo energy. Also a kind of rhythm. Rhythmic, Virgo quality goes hand in hand with a certain rhythmic quality, in the sense that many processes, including your digestion, for example, but also your work, is rhythmic actually. There are rhythms, peristaltic rhythms in the body, but regular work, it's already the word regular, has to do with a daily rhythm. Daily work is a daily rhythm from week to week, year to year. If you are grounded in your Virgo energy, you don't have trouble with that. You actually thrive on that, on good rhythms. Also, rhythm of sleeping and working and eating, healthy rhythms. If you're not grounded in those rhythms and they seem to deplete you, there's something wrong. You're either working for the wrong purpose or you're in the wrong process, but it's not supporting you, and it should be supporting you. And positive embodiments of Virgo energy are in any person who knows a lot about processes, about subjects. Either, say something somebody who knows a lot about losing weight or gaining muscle or overcoming allergies or processes in computers or internet or artificial intelligence. Actually, algorithms are Virgo energy themselves, sort of an embodiment of Virgo energy, because they.
The word implies a rhythm as well.
Yeah, I believe it's not from the Greek root of rhythm, but it's from an Arab word.
Okay.
But an algorithm is actually a very strictly defined goal with a very strict procedure leading to the goal. That's an embodiment. Somebody, I'm not sure who invented the algorithm. It's actually, algorithms have been existing very long, way before computers came to being. But algorithms are an embodiment of Virgo energy. On the negative side, it's when you cannot connect with this Virgo energy, and that's with all the signs, there comes a sort of a neediness. You're trying to establish this Virgo quality. And that happens when you start overthinking things, overanalyzing things, processes. That's a negative Virgo quality. What's called hypochondria, so the fear of being ill. So you feel something, oh, maybe it's cancer, imagining terrible diseases. In other words, it's actually an underlying fear that the processes inside you, the rhythms, are not working well because apparently you're not connected to them. You cannot ground in them or trust them. So it's a psychological condition, hypochondria. Over cleanliness. I mean, being clean is Virgo, but you can be too clean, like obsessing with germs and dust and stuff like that. Being organized is positive, but some people are like ritualistic, like everything always has to be like this. The glasses have to be like this, and my shoes and my socks have to be like this, and the house has to look like this. If that's not the case, then I totally freak out. Then you have negative Virgo energy. Registering everything, monitoring everything, that's also negative Virgo energy. It's trying to get some sort of control of the world or your world or whatever it is that you're concerned with through an extensive amount of details and mapping everything out. The same goes for administering everything, tracking everything, either the government tracking everything or you tracking all your foods because you're obsessed with weight loss. It's the same energy. It's a negative Virgo energy. These are a few examples.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm not sure if this is correct though, but also like a negative Virgo energy, could it be that you're very self-critical?
Yes, absolutely. It's a great example. Yeah.
And for some reason, when you say also like you, as a positive energy, the processes and caring for the criteria, like, and I saw this, like the negative being self-critical, like the critical and criteria, like what does that, like, is there a correlation between the two? Like,
yes.
How does that?
Yeah. Criticism and criteria and critical all come from the Greek word krinein. Krinein is very much a Virgo word. Krinein is a Greek word for to discern. Just very neutral. It has to do with this perceptive quality. So criteria, the word criteria refers to this neutral ability to discern criteria. So these criteria, if they are met, will lead to this outcome. Not being able to maintain criteria or just observe criteria, then you're nowhere. But overdoing this can become too critical, either critical about others or yourself. But being too critical, a perfectionist is actually also a negative Virgo energy. Trying to be perfect yourself, trying to execute all the things that you have to do in a perfect way, that's negative Virgo energy.
And then expecting the perfect outcome, but that will never, like, it's never perfect, right?
No, the perfect outcome, you know, the perfect object, if you're assembling an object, being a perfect person, it's a negative or a downside of this realism. Positive Virgo energy can be very realistic, also about him or herself. But if you overdo it, you become extremely self-critical, and you start, putting down yourself, and always lower than others. And other negative aspect of Virgo energy is a very subordinate attitude, a very, you know, like, please, you tell me what we're going to do. You can decide everything. It is overdoing this part of being part of a process. And of course, everything and everybody in this universe is part of a process. But here you're exaggerating that.
Yeah.
And then you become subordinate. You lack confidence. There's no belief in your own center. You can only see yourself as part of a process. That's overdoing, and then therefore negative Virgo energy.
Yeah, thanks. That really, those insights for me were really valuable and helpful. Thanks for explaining that. So yeah, with that, this episode will come to an end. We talked about Virgo energy today. We hope you enjoyed watching our episode about it. In our next episodes, we will be discussing more signs. The next one to come is Libra.
Yes.
Yes, I'm correct. Yes. And also we are in the process of inviting guests to our show. And our first guest, we've just covered an episode on that. And more will be coming in the near future. So stay tuned on those
Yes,
types of
also,
episodes.
everybody's welcome to apply.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. So
Like if you feel like you want to participate in our show and discuss, cover a topic personally, feel free to contact us through Instagram DMs. On YouTube there is an email address. There's multiple ways to contact us. So feel free to do so. And yeah, we hope to see you next time.